Greetings, all you samurai out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm playing a severe game of catch-up with no mustard. Now, I will be talking about One Piece Chapter 932, titled The Shogun and the Courtesan, as we open up with a cover page showing Caesar Clown, who has not been seen since the finale of Whole Cake Island when he parted ways with Capone Beige. We got him writing down some little hiring notices and all that good stuff, though a bunch of sheep are just absolutely devouring it. We then to get into our story proper, where we see Komurasaki in the very same mask as the woman playing the shamisen at the beginning and end of each of the acts of Wano, showing just how much of a ingrained part in the overall story that Komurasaki actually has, which I think is a very nice touch on Oda's part. Now, it really shows just how much forethought he's really put into this arc in particular, very simply above all else. Oddly enough, it seems like they say that Komurasaki insists on putting on this mask every time she plays this song, which may allude that she might just have a very solemn expression when she plays this song, befitting of the past that might be related to this song. I feel that, everyone and their mother has called her out to be the sister of Momosuke, the daughter, Hiyori, and all that good stuff. So I believe that this is a tune that was more than likely one played when she was very young, that she still remembers to this day, and she plays it with a very sad expression on her face. Meanwhile, Robin has been ambushed by the Oniwaban group of the Shogun, a secret platoon of ninjas and their leader, who are all ready to take her down at a moment's notice. Ultimately, when asked who she is, she proclaims that she is the ox tree boy who has been stealing from the rich and given to the poor. The leader of the Oniwaban group says it's a very interesting and prudent answer and orders her captured. And the moment they seize her, she turns into a blooming display, a pile of flower petals, confounding all of the ninja, who question if she was another shinobi, a spirit, but is ultimately claimed that her true body must be nearby. This must be a form of technique, though she's getting away with it because of the lack of knowledge that many people from Wano have of devil fruit abilities. So keeping your own people in the dark about things like this is proving to be a bit of a double-edged sword for the forces of Orochi. As Robin goes racing back to the banquet hall, she radios Nami, Shinobu, and Brooke, all to let them know that her cover has been blown and she's trying her best to get out of the way of all 11 ninjas, asking for a request to help her get out of the palace as quickly as possible as the Oniwaban group make their chase. Meanwhile, Robin makes it back to the banquet hall, tries to blend in with the other geisha as Komurasaki continues to try to suck up to the Shogun as much as possible, as the ninjas infiltrate the banquet hall and do their best in order to suss out Robin's locations. Meanwhile, several of the other men in attendance compliment Lord Kyoshiro on raising Komurasaki up and into the fine beauty that she is now. But Kyoshiro, in a moment of actual bit of chivalry to a certain degree, especially befitting his position, comments to them not to refer to one of his geisha for a dog as if she were a dog, that she is a flower, and if you water her pristine roots as much as possible, her beauty will truly bloom. Which it's a nice little thing, because sometimes you have one or the other. It's never truly in between in terms of brothel owners. In a lot of media, it'll either be a cruel dictator who has captured them and is keeping them as much hostage as anything else, as a way of getting them to pay off their parents' debts or someone in relation to them, the debts of that. Or it'll be an actual fairly kind person who very much looks out for the women in their employ as much as possible. A lot of series do that from time to time, so it's a very interesting way of going, and it shows a bit of nobility on Kyoshiro's part. A lot of nobility that is not, that isn't looked down upon by the men in the Shogun's employ. In fact, they actually kind of respect them to a greater degree, even more so than the Shogun himself, who then, as almost if on cue, starts to talk about not just Kyoshiro's powers, but the fact that his enemies are gathering. And you would almost think he was in a drunken daze, but the Shogun goes on this tirade about the outsiders who have infiltrated their city. About how 20 years ago he saw the death of Kazuki Odin, but the vengeance sworn by Lady Toki. And, Kazuki clan has not died out. They will return to reclaim power. But everyone's just chuckling to themselves quietly because they don't want to be executed. But Robin notices, just like, man, this guy is really taking to heart the legend, but none of his followers are taking it seriously. But that makes sense. Why would you believe something that would sound so far-fetched, so utterly impossible? This lack of belief that these people have, again, it's just such a double-edged sword, this limited understanding. And I love that Oda is just really highlighting this, that when you have a minimal understanding of the world at large, you cut yourself off from valuable information that might very well end up saving your life. Speaking of lives that need to be saved, Otoko actually ends up bursting out laughing, and I think this is because, like many other people have also said, that she is from a Bisu town where everyone joyously laughs out loud, and she just starts chuckling knowing that everyone is just mocking the Shogun behind their back, and she cannot contain her laughter, and this shocks everyone. It's like, no, quiet child, do not do this. She's just a child, do not kill her. But Orochi just ready to go in, just enraged that someone would dare laugh at the unfinished business from 20 years ago. And he goes in to strike her down. Only for Otoko to be, saved by one of the other geisha. Or one of the servants at least. And, they start begging, you have to help me get her out of here. And the guy's like, no, there's no point, the Lord will kill her and all this. And as he gets closer to just taking Otoko out, in comes Kurosaki with a savage slap to the face. Like, man, she may be a prostitute, but she reached back like a pimp and slapped the hoe right in the goddamn face. And it's obvious just the Shogun was not ready for it, and just this savage chill that runs down everyone's body as they're just like, oh my god, what has she done? She slapped the Shogun, get on your knees and grovel for your life, my god. But Kurosaki's just like, no, I refuse to grovel before anyone. And Robin's at the ready to literally throw hands, because she's just trying to suss out what the proper thing to do in this situation would actually be. But the Shogun's just like, I was actually thinking of making you my wife, but now that you've done this, and then Komurasaki just snaps back with a beatdown more savage than a slap, and it's just like, if you would prefer a weak woman, then strike me down. I am the daughter of a samurai. I will not disgrace myself. And Orochi goes off, transforming into his full 8-headed form. It's like, don't speak those words to me, you glorified whore. It's menacing yet silly the way he looks. Just ready to go all out, and the guys are just like, oh god, Lord Orochi, we're in the castle, do not transform here, what are you doing? And one of the women, I think it's Robin, it just grabs onto Otoko and just like, okay, time to get you the fuck up out of here, only to be discovered by the ninja of all people. So it's just all this stuff is just happening, naming the showdown between Robin and the ninja, Orochi and Komurasaki, and then in comes Kyoshiro, who's just like, well, there's gonna be a bloodbath, and he gets ready to draw his sword, and it's just like, holy crap, what's gonna happen now? Because, I don't know how Komurasaki is gonna survive this. Ultimately, my theory is that she herself is the Ox Tree Boy because of her deep connection with Otoko, the fact that she, as we've seen before, it's just like she robs from rich people. But that would very much explain what she does with all that money. If not to buy her own freedom, then if she's just distributing it amongst the very impoverished populace, that would make a lot of sense. Now, I know I'm not the first one to come up with this theory, but I had this idea when I first read this chapter a few days ago, and then I started to see that other people also had that same train of thought. So I don't think I'm crazy on this one, but I fully believe that, because some people say it's Kyoshiro, but Kyoshiro, I feel, we got some heavy foreshadowing that he's going to throw down with Kinemon. Not to mention, he's the one who, did sick, all of the flying pirates, X-Drake and Page 1 on Sanji. So I feel that him being more antagonistic makes a lot more sense to me. I feel that makes a lot more sense. But Komurasaki, not only being the daughter of a samurai, she has a warrior spirit. That would make so much sense, and it would really drive home this statement of her just talking about a warrior's heritage. And to see her throw down with Orochi, maybe with back-to-back with Momosuke, that would be amazing. And so cool. That would be so awesome. But it's such an interesting development, not to mention Robin, like, how is she going to get out of this predicament with Otoko? The Straw Hats are really collecting a bunch of kids. Otoko, Momosuke, and, what was the little girl's name? Tama. So it's just like, man, they are collecting up a bunch of little children for some reason. Next generation of Straw Hats, but she needs to get Otoko out of there and escape the ninja's gaze, where I feel that ultimately Brook is going to come into play here, because these Shogun is a superstitious and cowardly lot, so that should come into play a little bit there, although then there'll be a showdown with all 11 of the ninja of all things, so that could be a very dramatic situation. Although that does fill out the ranks of a lot of the 9 red scabbards if they get everyone together, so it'll be interesting once we get to the real showdown portion of things, how the fights are distributed up, because there's a lot of speculation on that. But all of this is very intriguing, very intriguing. I'm curious to see what Kyoshiro does now that he's drawing his sword. Who is he going to strike down ultimately? I feel that we're really going to get some very prominent, long-awaited answers after we get that next chapter. That next chapter is not going to be one to be slept on, and I'm very curious to see where it goes. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What are you most excited for next chapter? Kyoshiro, the Courtesan and the Shogun, or Robin and the Oniwaban? You know, what are you looking forward to the most? Tell me that in the comments section below. And feel free to give this video a like if you liked anything I had to say, or felt that any of my theories might be correct or on the nose. Or give me a dislike if you feel that I did something wrong or said something wrong that needs to be corrected, and it will help me, you know, improve for future videos, hopefully. But hey, how about even subscribing, because I'll definitely be bringing you the next chapter of One Piece. It's too intense to miss. But until then, I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the land of Wano. Bye-bye.